Welcome back, everybody. I am your host, Daniel Joseph Alameda, and this is Alameda Views. For those of you who are new to the show, welcome. Welcome. This is a weekly show, once a week, about 15 to 20 minutes long, and it's my show to say my thoughts and opinions on the biggest news in the sports world. The most important part of this show is you guys. And what I mean by this is I need you guys, okay? This show is built off of hot takes, off of controversy, and off of opinions. So I need you guys to comment down below. I need you guys to reach out to me on Twitter at DanielAlameda11. If there's something I say in here that irritates you, something I say in this show that triggers you, tell me. Let us know at the Right Way Sports Network. Check the description down below for our Instagram, everything. Just make sure you guys like this video and subscribe for more if you want this show to keep on going. So, without much further ado, let's get right into the 4th ever episode of Alameda Views. MVP, Most Valuable Player. This award really sums up the NFL as a whole because it's a quarterback-driven league and it's a quarterback-driven award. In the offseason, we know NFL media loves hyping up the running backs, loves hyping up the wide receivers because they want that dark horse. But the reality is a running back or receiver will not win this award this year. Here's why. The last receiver to win this award was Jerry Rice in 1993. And last year, we saw Michael Thomas have a historic season. 142 receptions and broke the receptions record. And people considered him to be an MVP candidate, but was he really? A quarterback was always going to win this award, and we know that for a fact. So, this year, I don't see anybody really topping the year Michael Thomas had, but if there's one receiver, it would be DeAndre Hopkins with the Cardinals. We know their air raid offense. We know he's going to have far more targets this year with Murray than he did last year with Bill O'Brien and Deshaun Watson. So he'd be the one receiver I would pick, but I'm still not even considering him for MVP. Let's look at the running backs. The last running back to win this award was in 2010, Adrian Peterson. What his MVP season taught me about this award was if a running back wants to win, they need to have a vital impact, a huge impact on the team's success, and the team has to be successful, okay? So that kind of rules out Christian McCaffrey for me. Everyone loves putting him in the top 5, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. How can you have him over quarterbacks? A quarterback that is almost guaranteed to have a winning record when the Panthers won't even have a winning record this year. Panthers will not win more than 8 games, and that's a fact. And even if, let's say, they win 8-8, Christian McCaffrey, he had a tremendous year last year. Put up 2,000 plus yards from scrimmage, but he wasn't even considered for this award. So if he put up 2,000 yards from scrimmage last year, was a tremendous player all year long, and he wasn't even considered, what makes you think that he will be considered this season? I'm sorry, no running backs are winning this award. Let's look into quarterbacks. And similar to the dark horses in the running backs and receivers, there's always dark horses in quarterbacks, okay? But let me tell you the facts about the dark horses. Ever since 1998, the MVP in his prior season won 7 or more games, okay? So what this means is if a player did not win 7 or more games last year, they will not win this award. And that is guaranteed from the past 20 years. If you want to go back and look, I'm telling you, that's the facts, okay? So that rules out 3 huge names for me. Baker Mayfield, okay? He's not in consideration. He's got a great team, but to me, I think he's a little bit of a bust, more of a one-read guy. He's a bigger arm Case Keenum, if that's a good comparison for you guys. Matthew Stafford. And I'm a Matthew Stafford believer. I think he's going to have a great year this year. And I'm sorry, Lions fans, that I'm saying this, but the fact is they went 3-10 last year. Or 3-12 last year. And we don't know about their defense and Matt Patricia. So I'm not considering him. And Kyler Murray. This one's a tough one because everyone expects them to go from worst to first. But the fact is, they were 5-10 last year. And I think Kyler Murray's going to have a huge season this year, but I'm not considering him for MVP. 3 other guys I want to talk about, Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. They will not win because their teams won't be as successful this year, okay? The Packers are going to regress. We know they were 13-3 last year, and so will the Texans without DeAndre Hopkins. Both players don't have good weapons around them. Devontae Adams is cool. Brandon Cooks is cool, but not MVP caliber. Those 2 I'm not considering. And the last one I'm not considering, Josh Allen. Here's why. I did a recent article. Make sure you guys go check it out on the Right Way Sports Network. Josh Allen's in a Jimmy Garoppolo situation, okay? He's in a Jimmy Garoppolo situation, and what I mean by this is he's got a great defense and he's got a great run game. Last year, Jimmy G put up great numbers, but he wasn't considered in MVP voting because he got quote-unquote carried, okay? And Josh Allen, while he's athletic, while he's got a great run game, while he now has Stephon Diggs, he hasn't put up more than 280 yards in a game, passing yards, okay? So I can't expect Josh Allen to be some MVP candidate when all he's really going to be asked to do is control the clock, control the game. I'm not considering him. So let's look at our MVP odds, okay? Let me run through them really quickly. Patrick Mahomes is number 1, okay? Patrick Mahomes, number 1, we know what he has. Lamar Jackson, number 2, we know what he has. Russell Wilson, I'm not so sure about this one because Russell Wilson's a great talent. And I mean, you can vote on him. I wouldn't be mad. But we don't know what's going to happen with their defense. They're in a tough division. And like Jadeveon Clowney's not even signed yet. So what happens at defense? I don't know. Russell Wilson's still a candidate, but I'm a little concerned there. Kyler Murray, I already talked about him. I'm not going to vote for Kyler Murray. Think he's going to be much improved, but I'm not going to vote for him. Tom Brady. Here's where we get into it. Tom Brady's a good MVP candidate. Here's why. Last year, we know what he had with the Patriots. He threw a lot of interceptions, was very inaccurate, but that was because of his weapons. That was because of the team around him, and now he's got Mike Evans. Now he's got Chris Godwin. We know the type of team he has now, and Tom Brady's going to thrive. We know Bruce Arians loves to push the ball down the field. Tom Brady will put up great numbers, and if they win 12 or more games, he will be in consideration. Same goes for Dak Prescott. If I had to pick one player to win the MVP, I'm picking Dak Prescott, okay? Dak Prescott is going to put up great numbers. Dak Prescott puts up numbers. He put up 4,800 yards last year, and now he added CeeDee Lamb, okay? You got Mike McCarthy's a new head coach. You got so much new stuff going on. You get rid of the old from last year. Jason Garrett's gone. Your 8-8 team is gone. Now you can look to be much improved this year. If Dak Prescott puts up great numbers, he will be an MVP candidate. And, I mean, Phillip Rivers has a chance. I think he's 38 years old. They're a more run-heavy team. I wouldn't consider him. Big Ben, he's got a chance, but coming off that injury, his elbow injury, I'm not going to vote for him. Matt Ryan's in a very tough division. Drew Brees is another great candidate, but I think he's getting older as well. Let me talk about a dark horse. Drew Lock. If there is one dark horse to talk about, it is Drew Lock. Here's why. He's got a great defense around him. So he's got the defense to succeed. So we know the Broncos are going to face or see major success this year in the win-loss column, okay? And now he's got weapons. I watched film on Drew Lock. He's nothing crazy. He wasn't like a Patrick Mahomes, but he was consistent, and he was damn good, okay? So Drew Lock is going to see major success this year. They drafted Alberto. They drafted KJ Hamler. They drafted Jerry Jeudy. You have so many weapons on that team. If there's one dark horse to vote on, it is Drew Lock, and he's under Tua. Tua has better MVP odds than Drew Lock, and that's absolutely absurd. So those were my thoughts on the MVP race so far. The Offensive Player of the Year award, similar to the MVP, is a quarterback-driven award, okay? It's a quarterback-driven award, but this one, more so than the MVP, we can consider running backs and receivers. Last year, Michael Thomas won Offensive Player of the Year, and he was the first receiver to do so since Jerry Rice in 1993. So, with that being said, I don't think another receiver will win this award. If there's one, like I said, DeAndre Hopkins should be in the running because of his situation. But let's look at the running backs. I don't think Christian McCaffrey will because, like I said, the Panthers won't be successful. But one player that I'm confident on, one player that I would bet on, one running back, Nick Chubb, and here's why. Nick Chubb last year had a tremendous year, even with all the turmoil going on in the Browns organization. We know Freddie Kitchens, we know Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett hitting Mason Rudolph on the head with the helmet. Nick Chubb was the one consistent point on their team. Nick Chubb was running the ball every damn game. He had the most broken tackles. Nick Chubb had the most broken tackles out of any running back last year. And with a better offensive line, with a new head coach, with a better passing attack, because we know Baker Mayfield had a horrible year last year. If he improves, Nick Chubb will get more ground, more pound, and he will get more carries, and he will be far more effective than he was last year. And last year, he was close to the rushing title. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Nick Chubb won the rushing title this year. I understand Kareem Hunt is there, but if there's one running back I'm betting on to win Offensive Player of the Year, it is Nick Chubb. Going back to the quarterbacks, though, it's a quarterback-driven award, and 50% of the time, if the player wins MVP, they also win Offensive Player of the Year. So very similar to the MVP award, I think Dak Prescott's huge for this award. Dak Prescott will put up the numbers. If they win 12-plus games, he'll be a top 3 candidate, hands down. Tom Brady, same thing, but if there's one other player, I think Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's in there. Like I said, I wouldn't consider him for the MVP award, but he's going to have a tremendous year this year due to new DeAndre Hopkins. You have a great running game over there, and it's the Cliff Kingsbury system. So if there's my top 3 picks, besides Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, obviously, I'm sorry, Russell Wilson fans, I'm going to go Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Kyler Murray. There you go. Those are my 3 Offensive Player of the Year award picks. Like I said, Nick Chubb's there. DeAndre Hopkins is there, but if it's a quarterback-driven award, so I will go with those 3. Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, this one's definitely my favorite prediction because I'm confident as hell. And you may be saying, Daniel, why are you confident when there's so many great defensive players? I'm confident as hell because it's what the film tells me. And the film tells me that TJ Watt will win Defensive Player of the Year. Here is why. Let me break it down for you guys very simply, step by step, okay? The Pittsburgh Steelers have the best defense in the NFL. You got a great secondary, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, the list goes on. On the opposite side of TJ Watt, you have Bud Dupree, an excellent pass rusher. In the inside, you have Cameron Hayward. You got a great defense as a whole. And then when you look at TJ Watt, you see he does it all. He can do it in the pass rush. He can do it in the run game. He can do it all. In the pass game, he's got the speed and he's got the power. He's got the moves. He's got the spin. He's got the swim. He can go outside offensive tackles. He can blow up a play when you put 2 guys on him. In the run game, oh my God, I did not mean to flip you guys off. In the run game, TJ Watt, he uses his pursuit. Like I said, he's speed. He's fast. He's got the bend outside. He can beat you in the pursuit. He can drag down a running back from behind. TJ Watt is a perfect blend of speed, power, and athleticism. He can do it all. Last year, he didn't get his fair share, and I don't know why. He was considered for Defensive Player of the Year a little bit, but Nick Bosa overshadowed him. Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, all those guys overshadowed him. So really, I'm putting respect on his name. TJ Watt is one of the best pass rushers in the game, and me personally, I believe that he will win Defensive Player of the Year. I know that that's a prediction. I know that that's not a fact, but let's look at some of the other guys. Aaron Donald's getting double teamed every game. Nick Bosa is going to be keyed on more so because now there's no DeForest Buckner. Now teams are like, okay, here's the second-year player. We know Nick Bosa's that guy. Khalil Mack, he's on a great defensive team with the Bears, but yeah, I mean, TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, TJ Watt was more productive last year. Go back and look at the stats. Sacks, pressures, tackles. TJ Watt was more productive. TJ Watt will win Defensive Player of the Year. That is my prediction. Now, let's get into the rookies. Offensive Rookie of the Year. This one's fun, okay? This one's fun because it's, like I said, it's a quarterback-driven league. So the favorite in my pick is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will win Offensive Rookie of the Year because he's got great weapons. We know A.J. Green. We know T. Higgins. Joe Mixon in the run game will be a lot better this year. He's got great weapons around him. The first overall pick, we know that they're hyped up. We know that the media will push up anything about them. Joe Burrow will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. But he's not my favorite, though. Or he is the favorite, but I'm looking at the dark horses. And the dark horses are the running backs, okay? Running backs, look at Josh Jacobs last year. Had a tremendous year. And when I'm looking at running backs this year, there are 3 immediately that pop out to me. 3. The 3 running backs that pop out to me is Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the Chiefs. And he's going into a tremendous team. We already know the Chiefs Super Bowl champions from last year. And he's going to step right in and be effective in the run and pass game. So if you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, you deserve to be put up for this award as well. Zack Moss. Zack Moss of the Buffalo Bills. This is one of my dark horse picks because he's going to be tremendous this year. He's one of my favorite prospects. He's a downhill runner. He's got great contact balance. He can be effective in the pass game, but we know the Bills are going to be playing from ahead for a ton of games this year because of their defense. We know that Sean McDermott loves to key in on the running game, and Devin Singletary is mostly a third down, change of pace type of running back. So that leaves Zack Moss with 150, 200 carries this year to be productive. And the final candidate I have is Cam Akers. Cam Akers was very athletic. He's a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. And Cam Akers, he's stepping in to take Todd Gurley's place. I understand Malcolm Brown's there. I understand Darrell Henderson's there. But when we really look at it, who did they draft in the second round? Cam Akers. So Cam Akers will get a chance with the Rams to be a workhorse running back. I know they have a little bit of committee there, but expect 150 plus carries for Cam Akers. And he's also effective in the pass game as well. Defensive Rookie of the Year. This one's always a tough award to predict, but there's 3 candidates that really stick out to me this year. Chase Young, Patrick Queen, and Derrick Brown. Chase Young is in a perfect situation. We saw Nick Bosa win the award last year because of his situation. Nick Bosa had DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, these first-round picks on the defensive line, so he wasn't as big of a focal point. Similar to Chase Young this year. You got first-round pick Montez Sweat on the outside. You got Ryan Kerrigan. You have a great group of pass rushers. So if you have a great group of pass rushers, what's Chase Young going to do? He's going to thrive because he's not the only good player on their defensive line. So he's obviously the favorite. If I had to pick one, I'd go Chase Young right now, but he's the favorite. Patrick Queen. We know the long list of Ravens talented linebackers. You've got C.J. Mosley. You got Ray Lewis. Patrick Queen is stepping in right away. From John Harbaugh's words, he's going to be a 3-down backer. He's going to be their Sam backer. He's going to grow into their leader. Hopefully he can be the next great Ravens linebacker. But he's got a great defensive line in front of him. We know what they got there. We know the secondary. You got Earl Thomas, Marcus Peters. The Ravens have a talented defense. And when you put a guy in the middle of their defense, Patrick Queen, who's got speed, athleticism, and everyone loves him. Look at him last year on LSU's championship team. Everyone loves Patrick Queen, so that's going to hype him up even a little bit more. I think he's a dark horse for this award. And finally, Derrick Brown of the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers, they're rebuilding. Their defense is going through a ton of changes. They lost James Bradbury. They lost Luke Kuechly to retirement. They lost a lot of talent on this team. But Derrick Brown is stepping in right away, and we know he will be a run stuffer. We know he will blow up plays in the passing game. We know that Derrick Brown is going to be a stud on a young and inexperienced team. So he has a great chance to make his mark right away as the focal point of the Panthers defense. Let's keep it rolling with Coach of the Year, okay? And Coach of the Year is typically given to a coach who shows mass improvement in their team. So that means winning 4 or more games than they won the previous year. So when I'm looking at all these candidates, I understand the Bill Belichick's, I understand the John Harbaugh's, I understand the Kyle Shanahan's. But when you already had a tremendous year last year, what more is there really to build on? So you have to look at a coach who's taking a team from 7-9 to 12-4, taking a team from 10-6 to 14-2 like John Harbaugh did last year. When I'm looking at these coaches, 4 names pop out for me, okay? Sean McDermott, number 1. Great head coach for the Buffalo Bills. We know what they did. They made the playoffs last year. They went 10-6, and they got a great team. They're returning a great defense. We know Josh Allen's improving, added Stephon Diggs. So since they were 10-6 last year, they have to win 13-3 this year in order for him to be considered. Tremendous head coach. He's got the smarts up there. Now it's really just putting it to work and winning 13 games. Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy stepping into a perfect situation because he has the talent there. We know that the Cowboys have the talent. That's never the issue. It's always about putting it together and winning games. Last year, Jason Garrett went 8-8 with the Cowboys. So if they went 8-8 last year and Mike McCarthy improves to 12-4, that's 4+ games. That's 4+ games. You already have the talent there. Mike McCarthy is going to be a huge candidate in this because he's a first-year head coach. There's going to be a new relief in the Cowboys organization because Jason Garrett's gone. You have something new. Mike McCarthy is a huge candidate. And this one, I think both these coaches go hand in hand. John Gruden, Vic Fangio. John Gruden is a hard-nosed coach. We know what he has with the Raiders. He's got a tough group of players. They went 7-9 last year, and I think they're going to be one of the most improved teams this season, okay? So if they're going to be one of the most improved teams, John Gruden is going to get a lot of credit for that. They were 7-9 last year, so if he can lead them to 11 wins this year, if he can lead them to a playoff berth, he will be in consideration for this award. Because they don't have the most talented roster. We know Derek Carr. They got some decent weapons at receiver, decent weapons at tight end like Darren Waller. But there's nothing spectacular there. So if they can win 11 games, 12 games, he will be in consideration. And the final one, Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, I don't want to get too much into it, but I love him. Great defensive head coach. They're going to have a top 5 defense in the league. And then we know what their offense can do. Like I said, Drew Luck's an MVP candidate, a dark horse candidate. They went 7-9 last year. So if they go 12-4, 11-5 this year, he will be a huge candidate for this award. If I had to pick one though, I would go Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio will win the Coach of the Year award just because of the mass improvement they'll show. Last year, they lost a lot of one-score games, a lot of scores that they lost at the last second of a field goal. And Vic Fangio's got a great defense and a stud offensive group. Comeback Player of the Year. This award at its roots is someone who faces adversity in the year prior and that shows mass improvement in the next year. So Ryan Tannehill, the year prior, he wasn't as good, and then he had a mass resurgence in his career, and he won last year. While that's cool and all, Travis Frederick should have won the award. The year prior, Travis Frederick was dealing with a syndrome. I'm blanking on the name, but it affected his entire body. And then the next year, last year, he came back to being his all-pro self. So he wasn't really recognized, so I'm just going to take this time to recognize him. This year, though, there's a lot of candidates, and I'm going to rule out one huge name. Robert Gronkowski will not win Comeback Player of the Year. It's not that hard to understand, guys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, Robert Gronkowski. So with all three of those guys, there won't be enough opportunity for Robert Gronkowski to see mass success. He's not going to get 70 catches this year. He's going to be a situational guy, and he won't improve as much as this award really warrants. So a couple of guys I want to talk about. Big Ben. I'm not sure how good he's going to come back after his elbow injury, his elbow surgery. He's 37 years old. He's getting older. I don't know how good he will be, but I'm going to include him here. He's a top 4 candidate. Matthew Stafford, injured all year last year, and you guys know how much I love the Lions offense. They're a ground and pound game. He's got a ton of weapons there. Matthew Stafford will experience a great comeback season. Also, Bradley Chubb of the Denver Broncos. We already talked about him. Bradley Chubb, he tore his ACL in the year prior, and he was my defensive player of the year. So he was going to be, and then he didn't, obviously tore his ACL. But this year, you got Von Miller, you have a good secondary, you have Vic Fangio. Another year, Bradley Chubb is primed for a successful season this year. That gets me to my winner. This year's Comeback Player of the Year award will go to Nick Foles. Here's why. Nick Foles, while he didn't face a ton of adversity last year, he broke his collarbone, and he faced adversity because he got replaced by a 6th-round pick in Gardner Minshew at the Jaguars. So he got traded to the Bears, and Nick Foles, to me, he's the no-brainer starter there. I don't care what you guys say. He's reuniting with head coach there, Matt Nagy. He fits the system perfectly. Throwback to his Eagles days, and Nick Foles, he's got a team there. You got a decent run game. You got decent weapons there. Nick Foles, if he can get the Bears to above 9 wins, he will be the Comeback Player of the Year. Now it is time for Ask Daniel. And for those of you who do not know what this segment is, this is your chance to ask a question. Ask me any question you want. Go in the comments down below. I'll give you some time. Comment down any question you have. It could be sports. It could be life. Anything. Ask me a question using hashtag AskDaniel in the YouTube comments, on Twitter at DanielAlameda11, or on my Instagram. So ask me a question. I will get to it on the show, and I will give you a shout out on Instagram. But this show, we're going to do it a little bit differently because we know what's going on in America. So I'm going to answer one question. This question's from Adrian. I appreciate the question, Adrian. What do you think about the Black Lives Matter movement? This is America right now. Okay? America is going through a tough time. We know we're dealing with COVID, then we're dealing with this. There's a lot of negativity going on right now. And before I start, I'm white. I understand. I know I should not be speaking on this, but I'm going to speak on it. I am white. I am not black. But I can't relate to what black people go through every day. I cannot. That's me personally. I can't. But my point of view right now is when I look myself in the mirror every damn day, how can you get better? How can I get better? Ask yourself that question. How can I do better? How can I create a positive change? Ask yourself that question. And what I came up with is I can go to my friends. I could go to my black friends. I could go to my black family. And I could tell them, I'm with you. I don't understand what you're going through because I can't relate to what you go through every day because I am not black. But I am, sorry for my voice crack. I'm just passionate about this. I am not black, but I'm with you. I have a lot of black friends. Tell them that. Tell your friends that. Just say, I'm with you. Hug them. Say, I'm here for you. If you need something, I'm here. If you want to protest, go protest. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm here with you. Say that. That's it. Tell them you're here with them. Make a difference in your life. And if everyone can do that, good. Positivity, that's what needs to be changed. But now let's talk about the protests. Obviously, everyone has a right to protest. It's something that needs to be changed. Everyone needs to speak up right now. Here's a chance. But rioting, like, I understand the whole, Boston Tea Party, nothing good didn't come from riots. Come on, guys. You're destroying small businesses. I understand Target may have funded Minneapolis police. But what does a small sneaker store in LA have to do with it? I was watching videos, and these guys are walking in the stores that they put years and hard work and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into this. They put blood, sweat, and tears into the business, and what? You're going to destroy it? How does that send your message? How does that send your message? Explain to me how destroying a Gucci store, stealing from the Gucci store, has to do with black racism, systemic racism. What does that have to do with police brutality? Stealing from a Gucci store has nothing to do with it. So, I mean, it's a terrible situation in America right now. And all I can tell you guys is, if you're black, everyone else, I am here with you. You can ask me questions. I'm here for you guys. And make a positive change in your life. Don't be stealing things. That does not work. It's not the way to go. Make a positive change. I'm done with that. Man, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. I mean, it's the way America is right now. It's what's happening. I'm a positive person. I'm an optimist, so I try looking for the bright things. It's hard right now, but I'm trying, guys. I really am. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, ask me a question, guys. I love questions. I said some controversial stuff in this video today, and ask me a question. I'm here for you guys. See you guys next time.